Tax laws specify who is responsible for paying what portion of which taxes, and the way that the tax burden is envisioned as being distributed by tax laws is referred to as statutory tax incidence. As we will see, however, the real incidence of a tax, the real splitting of the tax burden, has nothing to do with how the tax laws specify the burden is to be distributed. This real splitting of the tax burden is referred to as economic tax incidence. We'll explore this here for the case of a tax on goods. If the tax law specifies that firms have to pay a per unit tax for each of the goods that they sell, then the marginal costs of producers increase, and therefore the supply curve in the market shifts by the amount of the per unit tax. The equilibrium price therefore increases from P star to P prime, and the equilibrium quantity transacted in the market falls from X star to X prime. While consumers therefore pay P prime in a new equilibrium, producers don't get to keep P prime per unit, because they still have to pay the tax T. Thus the amount that the producers get to keep per unit is P prime minus T. And since the supply curve shifts by the increase in the marginal cost, in other words, by the per unit tax T, we can read off P prime minus T from the supply curve at the after-tax equilibrium quantity. The difference between the consumer price P prime and the producer price P prime minus T is therefore simply the per unit tax. The impact of a statutory per unit tax on producers is therefore to introduce a wedge equal to the per unit tax T between the consumer and producer price, and the mechanism for that is that the supply curve for producers increases by T.